Hello, Viking. And Juki? I hope it's working on Twitch as well. I should be streaming to both YouTube and Twitch. I don't know how I'm going to structure this live stream. I didn't really plan it. I just kind of figured. So I don't know. I have a bunch of questions I'm going to answer, but I don't know if I should do that first and then tour, or if I should like tour a bit, answer a question, tour some more, or what I should do. I think it would be nice to get through all the written questions because it's going to take me a while. Maybe I can jump around or like just fly around randomly while I answer the questions, and then if you have a specific build that you know I've done in the past, I've got most of my builds loaded in on this server. So currently I'm in my 1.12 world. I call it that because all of these builds I did in 1.12. And it's mostly my mega builds type of stuff, but I also have all my newer stuff too. Was it? I switched it to Minecraft. I switched the game to Minecraft and the title, so let me just check that real quick. It did say there was some kind of error when I went live on Twitch. Yeah, that's strange. I switched it. Let me switch it again. Where do I go to do that? I'm not really familiar with how to edit in Twitch. Huh. Where do I edit the stream? Yeah, that's weird. I changed it. Let me go back here and
imagine how
go back here. Let's mute that in case something happens. Oh, here we go. That is weird. Let's paste. I switched all that, but it did give me some kind of error as I was going live. I don't know why. Okay, I think we're good now. Hello, cheesiest of fruits. Hello, Luton and Glory. And everyone else on YouTube. Sorry, I have not been reading. Okay, so to get through all of these initial questions first, and then, yeah, and then I will pay more attention to chat if you want to say anything. So, and I'm not going to put them up on the screen because I didn't prepare for that. But I'm going to go through all the Discord questions first, and then all the ones that were in the post. There's not tons of them, but if you have a specific build you would like to look at, just let me know, and I can go there. This is my, I would like to go through them in order, but you know what? This was one of the first ones, actually. This was the very first build I did using Voxel Sniper. The very first build in this world. So let's just, hang out here. It looks so ugly now. It looks so bad. But it's like, how old is it? 28. I built it in 2018 or something. Look at the nasty, nasty texturing I've got everywhere. The popcorn texturing. Looks so bad. Anyway. First, I will answer Sadical's question. He asked if I'm the real Megray, and I'm going to say, as far as I know, Sadical. I don't even know if you're watching this right now, but if you happen to rewatch it, as far as I know, I am the real one. Alright, next question. Mobius has a long list of questions. We're gonna go through all of Mobius's questions. So, yes. He said, when did I first start playing Minecraft? I started playing Minecraft as a game in 2015. Started building more seriously, though, like this, in 2017. And what got me into Minecraft? I actually was never interested in Minecraft at all until I was kind of convinced to try it out by my siblings because they had gotten it. I'm like, I don't want to, that looks like a boring game. I don't want to try that. But they got me trying it and I was super frustrated because I kept dying and I didn't know what I was supposed to do. And they kept telling me, oh, you got to make a crafting table. I'm like, what is a crafting table? And I was so annoyed with them. And that's how it all got started. I didn't get into building though until like a couple years later, or serious building like I said. But I wouldn't have tried it if it weren't for somebody introducing me to it. I feel the need to move around. Maybe I should just like jump around. This is several layers of glass. I thought I was so clever for speckling it like this, but please do not do this. It looks terrible. Look how terrible that looks. A little waterfall with little splashes. This build is so ugly now. I'm going to answer all of the questions that I have on my document first because these were ones that are written down outside of the comments. Then I'm going to try to go look at the comments for questions after I go through all of these. Or maybe I should go back and forth because if a comment gets lost, I'm going to miss it. Okay, I will answer the one about the Axia mod. I don't know yet because I haven't had a chance to try it. But I honestly don't need to use it. But it doesn't look like a bad plugin all the same. I'll leave that answer like that for now because I want to get through these other ones. So, next question from Mobius. What is it? I'm gonna lose my place. How would I compare myself from my very first video to like where I am now or current videos? I don't know what that's like for other people, but for me, early videos, when you first start making videos, you're trying to put on more of a performance, at least I was. And I didn't feel as genuine then as I do now, I guess. I guess I've gotten more comfortable with it, and I'm just more okay with being myself and allowing to leave in some mistakes. So I would say I'm more confident about it now than I was then, but that's just kind of natural. With experience comes confidence, so I think that's a good enough answer. Mobius has a lot of questions, oh my goodness. I'm going to have to go through these quickly. How has your building thought process changed through the years? And I don't really know if it has changed. I think, because with creative builds like this, process only changes when you have, for me, when I have more idea of how to accomplish things through commands. Because knowledge of different commands is what controls my process. Because you might do something one way, but then you learn a command to do it faster, so that's how my process really changes, is just based on what I know. And when I did this, I had very little knowledge of anything. I think I built this entire tree with just a sphere brush, and look at these leaves. It's so ugly. It's just a sphere brush of leaves sticking on the end of a thick branch. And then I think I used Voxel Sniper too to smooth things out. Like, this is all built with Voxel Sniper, just a bunch of blended blocks. It looks really, really bad. But anyway, once I get more familiar with how to use other tools, then obviously that's when the process changes. Words of wisdom. This is kind of like a question that would be at the end, but I'll answer it since it's the next on the list. What are words of wisdom to impart to aspiring builders? I don't really know if I have any. I always tell people if you really want to build something, it's not even just building. If you want to do anything, you just have to take the time to commit to doing it and understand that it will take a long time to get good at anything. Let's go to a different build. I think I will break this up. So this was actually a build I never made a video. No, I did make a video on it. I think I unlisted it. Elastigirl. She's an old one. And then we've got this really old build of a centaur. This was, look at this, she's got a very derpy face. Very ugly, derpy face. It looks so bad. But it looks decent, I guess, from the side. This was one of my first attempts at like a large scale horse with legs. Of course, it's not the head, but you know. One of my first attempts at that. And when did I build this one? 2018? Most of the builds in this world are from 2018, 2019, I believe. Let me see. And there should be a video for the majority of these builds. Like, the majority of the things in this world have a video that is attached to them where I did a time lapse. Unless it's that one. That one's unlisted because it didn't need to stay on my channel. Let me see. What's the next question? Do you have a main source of inspiration, or how do you visualize your building concepts? Because I think I have generally, I'm not really, the only thing that really inspires me, like, it depends on how you look at the word inspiration, sources of inspiration, because most of the time I just think up ideas on my own, but then I might need reference material to help support my idea. And then other times, if I'm building like a character, then I will be inspired by a movie or another piece of work to build that character. So it really just depends on what it is. Sometimes it's from my imagination, and sometimes I just want to recreate or depict a character that I really like. So most of these are out of my head. I was super proud of this when I made it, but look how ugly it is. Look at the nasty texturing down there. I would love to remake this one someday. It just has not been a priority, but it looks so bad. At the time though, it was like amazing for me at the time. And it's got all these giant mountains everywhere behind it that also look pretty bad, but you know. This is an old one. Oh, there's kind of a part 2 to the last question of inspiration. What does my overall creative process look like? Usually I think of an idea, and I'm pretty good at picturing it in my head. And if I really need the extra support for how to lay it out, I'll try sketching it, and then I'll build it. But it usually starts in my head, like, oh, I really want to build this, but then I have to think of a composition for it, and that's where sometimes drawing it will help me visualize the composition. This texture looks bad because it's all speckled and noisy. I don't do noisy texture like this anymore, really. I mean, I think for this one, I was trying to make it look like fog and like it was just a ground cover of clouds. So I don't know why I don't know what I would do instead of this texture, but one thing's for sure, I wouldn't texture the clouds. See how the clouds have a gray glass mixed in? And the noise in the clouds mixed with the noise underneath looks it looks too much. It's too much noise going on. I like my objects to look more distinct. Well, same with the griffin. The feathers are not distinct at all. All of this is blending in. It's like, it looks like mush. Nothing, I can't tell where each feather starts and each feather stops, and that's why it looks messy. I've got better examples of feathers in a newer build, but also these colors don't go well together, but I also have to give myself some slack because this was built in 1.12 when we didn't have as many color options. So, there is that. Well, yeah, it's better for depending on who you ask, because everyone also has their own style building. I don't think noise is bad in all cases, but I like my objects to look distinct from each other. And if everything is blending in with each other and you can't tell what is what, then it's a problem, at least for me. Okay. Mobius has several more questions. He gave me a long list. How do you manage your creative workflow? I kind of meant that kind of similar to the other one. Like, I'm not sure what he means by manage. I don't even know if I do manage it. I just do it. I'm gonna skip over that one and go to the next one. What tools do I prefer for building? I think everyone knows that. World Edit, Archeon, Voxel Sniper, Schematic Brush is really useful. All those standard ones. Someone mentioned Axiom if I would try it. I don't know yet. For big stuff like this, it wouldn't be as practical. I can see it being more practical for smaller things, the Axiom mod, but I also haven't tried it yet. But also, once you kind of get into a process that you're familiar with and you know what works for you, you don't always need to change your process or the tools you use as long as you can get the results you want. So the tools help with the process, but overall I'm just trying to get the results I want. However I do that, it doesn't matter. I'm trying to think of which build would be... There is a build over here. Yeah, this one. This one's pretty old too. And it took way longer than it should have. I think, off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure this build took me 35 hours because I thought I had to do a lot of this by hand because I didn't have very good knowledge of commands back then. So, yeah. It took way longer than it should have, but... Peach's Castle. Which biome do I like exploring the most? In survival mode, I like exploring probably mountains the best. And then Mobius's last question is, what's my favorite animal in Minecraft? And he said it can only be foxes. And lucky for him, my favorite animal in Minecraft is foxes. So I think I got that one right. All right, done with Mobius's questions. Oh yes, Benedine's asked, are you real? And how can I tell that I just don't imagine you? And I'm going to answer that by saying, of course you would imagine me, but why would that mean I'm not real? That was the best answer. I think that is the best answer for that question. And then he said, what would you say if you were the first person to set foot on Mars? I would either scream for help or ask them to take me back to Earth as soon as possible. I don't want to stay there. Have you ever been interested in getting into redstone? William's asking that on YouTube. I have done a couple things in redstone, only out of necessity if there was a specific thing I wanted to make that required redstone, but I don't really have an interest in getting good at it, if that makes sense. I will learn what I need to accomplish what I want, but I don't enjoy it. Alright, what's another build we can look at? Oh yeah, this one's pretty old too, but I was kind of here before. This is one of the few where you can actually go to Planet Minecraft and download it. I do have a download of this file. But it's also really old, built in 1.12, so it's got a lot of old blocks on it. It's not really up to date in terms of the blocks being used. But we've got Rosalina's Comet Observatory. You can go in all of these buildings. It's fun to jump around at least. Oh yeah, I did put something in the library on this. So this is where Rosalina reads the story. I put the DK picture up there. And then here's little room, the reading room. I wish I could remember the order all of this stuff was made. Some of these are just assets, like over here it's just a bunch of assets from different things. You might recognize this from a thumbnail. Yes, I still have it. My World Edit Brush thumbnail. Let's go to, I think this one over... Actually, maybe this one is one of the next ones. Hello, JD. We are answering, or I am answering questions. If you have any specific questions, but I'm also trying to go through my list of that I asked people for over the past week, so slowly working my way through the list. Super asked, how did I first get into building, which he said is similar to Mobius's question, and what were some of the earliest things I remember building? Well, these are some of the earliest. These are some of the ones I built. I kind of answered the how did I first get into building. Well, I answered how I got into Minecraft. I got into building after seeing other people do big art, sculptures, if you will, whatever you call it. I saw other people doing that, and I'm like, I can do that, so I did. It's basically how that story goes. And I don't have my first organics ever. They're in a single-player world. I suppose I could go to them, but I might spoil something if I go in there. I don't know. I don't know where I would log in that world, but... These are not my first organics ever. My first one, the first few I did ever were, done completely by hand. I had at least 3 or 4 I did entirely by hand. And that was a pain. But that was also when I was just learning how to do it. And then, yeah, those were the earliest large things. And I also have, if you're interested in seeing a tour of one of my first survival worlds that I actually still have, I do have a video on my channel called Touring My Old World, or Touring My First World, I think. And that has some of the original things that I used to build in survival, which is basically just a bunch of box houses, but you know, it still counts. When are we going to VC? I didn't know we were going to. Alright, so that was Super's question. Let me talk about this build here. This was basically from the promotional art for Breath of the Wild. And what's funny is I built this before I ever played the game. I just loved the art style. So yeah, I built this entire thing and then played the game like a couple years after it was released, or whenever that was. But I had built this long before then. And this was the first time I built a full horse, including the head. I'm pretty sure this was the first time I did a full horse. And at the time I thought, wow, this is such a good build, except now I look at it and again, same as the griffin, this speckled texture looks really, really bad. It's just all uniform, so it doesn't really help. I should have textured it with shadows and highlights, but I didn't do that because I didn't know any better at the time. Same with Link's cape. It's just a bunch of speckles. His face is pretty derpy too, but you know. Overall, if you look at it from here, you can't really tell. I was really proud of these trees too, but this tree, the branches are way too thick. This tree is okay. That tree I'll accept, it's okay. This one, the branches are too thick. But the leaves don't look terrible. Let me see. What other questions? We'll save the hardest thing I've made. I don't know what the hardest thing I've made. Probably the carousel. The carousel was pretty hard. It was because it was a lot of I was trying to make sure it looked realistic. Alright, I'm gonna go through a couple more questions from my document, then I'll go back to questions in the chat. Actually, 3. There's 3 that I want to answer in a row. No, 2, sorry. Ranger 100 asked, face reveal question mark, and my answer is no. And then Third Assassin 50 asked, how do you do the? And my answer is yes. I think those were great questions, so I wanted to answer them together. Oh, I forgot about this one. This is my Naiad and Dryad. I do like this one. It's got a lot of little animals. I love the little owl. Isn't he cute? Little owl perched in the tree. And there's a tiny bunny over here that I think is adorable. Look at this little bunny. So cute. He's got big puffy cheeks. And then here is the adult that, oh, it does have eyes. Just kind of hidden. Also, see, if I were to do this now, I would change out the fence with a wall, but at the time, that was the best block I had. So if I were to do it again, I would put a wall block there. But then we've got under here, we've got a few koi fish. There's one there. Oh, and other little fish too. There's another koi fish. And then there's another one. And there's a turtle somewhere here. There's a turtle. Yeah, not much to say about this build. I just like all the little animals I put in it. And it was also the first time I tried doing a twisty tree, which doesn't look terrible, I guess. Yes, there is a Mechasis, but we're not going to look at the Mechasis in great detail just yet. Let's look at Dixie. R.I.P. Dixie. She's no longer with us, but she was my dog. And this is an old build, so there's like a lot of, you know, speckled coloring and stuff, but she's still cute. Still looks like her. All right, what are some questions? Time asked, is there a build I would rather, or I would consider redoing? Maybe we'll just keep that one in my head as I fly around. Because I don't know yet until I see them. I usually I'm not really in the mood to redo any builds, so I would say there aren't any, but you never know. I mean, I have considered doing a new centaur build. Not this exact same one, but building another centaur. So if I want to redo something, it's more like building the same concept, but in a different way. If that makes sense. That's a really old one. Okay, I'm gonna answer a few more questions I've written down because I'm almost done with my the ones I had written down here, and then I can focus on ones in chat. How do you finish building a build? You just build. Oh, he said, what keeps you inspired to finish a project? Well, I mean, just like anyone else, there's days where I don't want to do anything. I get lazy and I don't want to work on stuff, but it does help that I kind of want to get a video out on my channel. That kind of motivates me to keep going with the build and finish it out, because it gives me an end goal and something to look forward to. But if you don't have that, if you're not posting your build anywhere, even if you're not motivated to work on it, you just work on it a little bit every day and eventually it'll be done before you know it. I don't really know a good way to answer that one. You just have to not give up on it, pretty much. Okay, I guess I will have to answer some of your questions before they disappear from my chat entirely. Let's look at a different build. This was done in 2019, and at the time I thought it was really good, but I'm pretty sure her leg is broken. Because look at this. Look at how her leg is bending here, and her ankle is completely twisted so that her foot isn't, like, her foot should be, either her foot should be angled down here or her leg should be angled sideways. But instead, her leg is angled up and her foot is angled sideways, so she's got a very bad twisted ankle. That's the only thing bad about that build. You can't tell from here, but yeah, see how her leg is straight up. Her foot should be down, but instead her foot is sideways. So, yeah. That's the only thing I don't like about this build. But I was super proud of my giant snowflake. And all the little snowflakes everywhere. So I've made plenty of mistakes, as you can see. You know what? I want to go... This is actually something that I didn't make a video of, but I want to go show it to you. Because I've never shown it in a stream. I don't think I have. Okay, so... Where is... Okay, so this house... This is a normal sized Minecraft house, see? And then I scaled it up. Little, big, little. That was more of an experiment. I didn't make a video of this, like I said, but here are all my scaled up pieces. It was more of an experiment to see if I liked the concept. Maybe I should try it again, but like with a nicer looking build. This one's pretty ugly, but yeah. It's a scaled up Minecraft house that never had a video made of it because I didn't think it was worthy of one. It looks kind of ugly, but did I do the inside of this one too? Oh yeah, I did. I've got the little interior here. All right, I'm gonna see if there's another question that that overlaps with Floris. Not really. The last few questions are, so Nether Joshua asked, how do you approach staging for your builds? So many of your works have these amazing immersive feels. For instance, the Book of Fairy Tales was just so amazingly framed. And you know what? Let's go look at the Book of Fairy Tales. It's in a separate world. Which one is it? It's in... I forget the name of the world. Hold on. Oh, Dash Stream. Okay. This has the fairy tale build, the final version. This was the collaborative build I did with people. So when it comes to framing a build like this one was kind of difficult because I was trying to instruct others too what size things needed to be to fit within the frame. But I mean, first you have your focal point, which would be the giant book, and then the castle. The castle is the focal point, and then everything is just spilling out of that. I didn't really plan this build. I just kind of pieced all the different parts together wherever they would fit, as long as they could be viewed. So I forget who it was that built this knight. It wasn't me. Some subscriber built this, and I actually had to make him rebuild it like once or twice because he built it too big at first. And I was trying to get him to build it at a certain size so that it would fill the spot right here, but not be overpowering the build. It has to fit within the scale of everything around it, you know? So this one was a bit tricky because I was trying to direct how big things should go, but also trying to fill in spaces myself. So back here, I'm pretty sure I just used some of these things as filler. I didn't even know that this stork was here. Completely forgot about the stork. I don't know who built that. It wasn't me. So yeah, in the back we've got Cinderella's carriage. And I built Cinderella, but she's just kind of like a shadow inside the carriage. I think for this one, like I said, I think I was just making it up as I go, but I had a list of ideas of things I wanted to try to include. And then I was just looking around, seeing where they would fit the best, where it would make the most sense, and where it wouldn't interfere with other things that already exist in the scene. Oh yeah, look at the wolf. The wolf is crushing one of the houses. It's a neat little detail. So he's interacting with all of this, even though they're completely different universes. Like this castle obviously doesn't go with this, but they're all interacting with each other. So yeah, for staging, I kind of have to make it up as I go and then try to fit all the pieces in that I want to fit in. But it's something you're constantly thinking about. That is always in the front of my mind is, how does this look from this angle? How does it look from this angle? For example, if this guy was standing over here instead of back there, he would be obstructing the castle from here, which wouldn't be good. Let me see. Some of the other questions I have... Okay. Ian TigerCon said, how long does it take to get good at building? I don't really know. Because first you have to define what being good at building means. Because would you look at my world? Let's go back to my first world. Would you look at this and call it a good build? Because if this looks like a good build to you, I was only a few months into building at the time. But to me, it doesn't look like a good build, but that's just because I've gotten better than that. So it really depends on what your definition of a good build is, or being good at building is. And that definition is going to change the better you get. At the time when I made this, I thought it was a good build, but now I look back on it and I think it's trash. So I think it just depends on your own expertise and perspective on what is a good build and what isn't. Alright, what is another one that is... Okay, I've been kind of teasing it. We'll look at the Mechasys. Although I have another copy of this in the other world, next to the miniature one. But yeah, here's the larger one. I do like the Mechasys a lot. I think that one was originally built in 2019. I think. 2019 was a good year for me. I got a lot of builds pumped out in 2019, but there are also small stuff like this, and my builds get progressively bigger and more elaborate, so they take longer to do. I might stream my current build I'm working on. I just haven't had a chance to do it because I've been caught up. I've been enjoying listening to audiobooks while I build, so I have some of those I like to get through before I actually stream again. But anyway, there was another question I had about faces, but I'm going to answer that one when we actually are close to a build that has a good face. I don't have any good ones here. So is there any questions that I haven't answered that are in the chat that I missed? Time management tactics. Again, depends on how rushed you are to finish a build, but if you just spend an hour every day working on the build, no matter how much you get done, eventually if you just commit to working on it a little bit at a time, eventually it will be done. You just have to commit a little bit of time every day to working on it. What shaders and texture packs do I use? This is from Cheesefruit. And why you decided to make a YouTube channel. Also, what is your favorite animal in Minecraft? Also, what would your favorite animal in Minecraft be if it was pufferfish? If my favorite animal were pufferfish, it would still not be pufferfish. I don't know how to answer that one. Shaders vary. I've used different shaders over the years. My current one that I like to use is Complementary. That's my favorite one. That's my go-to one currently, but I've used different ones over the years. I don't really use texture packs, although I used to, but that was like 2017, or that was ages ago that I used to use texture packs. Now I just stick to default textures. I started YouTube because I honestly had a YouTube channel before this one for something completely different, and I've just always enjoyed making videos. And that's when I discovered, or that's when I was introduced to, I should say. I was introduced to Minecraft and found out all the types of videos that people make using that. And so I just kind of switched the type of content I made, you know, because I had a channel before with like 10 subscribers. But it was stuff that I'd spend hours and hours doing stuff for that channel just because I enjoyed the creative process. But then I just kind of switched gears and switched it all to Minecraft content. So I've just always enjoyed making videos and like doing something creative and posting it. But with the introduction of Minecraft, that's when it all switched to Minecraft. Let's see. Let's find another build. There's the ice dragon. And if you compare this to my newer dragons that I'm working on, this one looks really tiny. This one looks so small. My ice dragon, oh, and my snow queen. These two I have as posters on the wall behind me. I printed them out as posters and put them on my wall. They kind of go together. Not intentionally, but it just worked out that way. We got your Snow Queen, Ice Dragon. These were both 2019 also, I believe. You know what? This would be a good one to answer the question about faces. So the other question I got was, how do you recommend learning to build large-scale faces for organics? It seems like the faces of most of the amazing organics I see are just a mess of random blocks like fences, buttons, candles, etc. How does that somehow come out looking great? I can't, the rest of this is cut off. It seems like such a complicated thing to learn. And I don't really think about it in terms of like what blocks do I use. Well, I mean, you do have to think about the blocks you're using, but this one is a very small face. But what I typically do with eyes, and these eyes are small, there's better examples I can show later. But first I think about the color of the eye itself. This one I didn't use any black blocks, which is surprising, but that's probably because it is, it's so small. But example, using a fence like this at the time, that was the best block I had to represent a pupil. So that is my black, if you will, of my eye. But if I were to do it now, I would probably use a black stone wall. But at the time, we didn't have those, so I used a dark oak fence. But that was the idea behind that, is it has to be smaller than a full block because I didn't want to fill up the space. So I wanted something in the corner. I could have done glass, I suppose, but I did a fence instead. And this is just a highlight in the eye. Now, my eyes aren't as crazy detailed as some people's. I see some people putting flowers and other things in their eyes, but really you're just thinking about it like it was a splash of paint. If you need a speck of white for a highlight, you find a block that has a speck of white on it, like a flower, and then you use that as your highlight. Same for like eyelashes. Think about the dark parts for eyelashes, and usually I use slabs for that because they're thinner. Anyway, this is an old one. I don't have a Patreon. I don't have downloads of any of my builds except for the Comet Observatory. Because I don't like to give away stuff for... I mean, I guess if I had a Patreon it wouldn't be free necessarily, but I don't have one of those. No. Go over here. We'll look at... Oh, no, we'll go... Yeah, we'll look at this one. Does everyone remember this build? This is probably the fastest build I've ever done. I'm pretty sure because it's such a simple concept, and it was kind of like a proof of concept build, but I ended up using it for a video after all. It only took me 3 hours to build this, because it's just a bunch of brushes and rough shapes. Like, I didn't have to worry about making it perfect because it wasn't supposed to look perfect. It's supposed to look like a bunch of clouds with instruments. The instruments probably took the longest of all the things. If the only word you could say was pufferfish, what is your favorite animal in Minecraft? That is my answer. Nothing. Silence. Did I go through all of these questions? Oh, Mystic Twilight said, "How are you so good?" Or "How are you so good?" And my answer is, I don't know. Am I good? And then Cheese Fruit, you asked me earlier in the post, you said, "Do you have a Discord server?" And I was gonna answer something like, "You should know because you're in it." But no. Yes, I do have a Discord server. If I didn't have access to World Edit and you had to do them by hand, you had to do stuff by hand. This is basically how you go about doing it. If you had no commands or anything, I have a video on this, by the way. I have a video where I made something entirely by hand, but you just have to, you have to wireframe your build by hand, fill it in by hand. Yeah, I do have a whole video on how to do that. It's just very time consuming. Here we've got the Dueling Knights, and again, at the time, I thought this was a very good build. And you can tell that I'm getting better, so look at this. Let me do this, go a little faster. So this one I showed you before, the Link, where is he? This was the first horse I ever made, like full body horse, and see how the texture is done? All the noise and everything, and how bad it looks. Well then, a year later, I got a little smarter. Then I started texturing like this, with like shadowy sections and highlights. And you can tell a big difference between this horse and that horse. And it does apply to this one too, it's just so dark that you can barely tell. Now the biggest problem with this build is the horses are like ponies. And I'm pretty sure these guys could touch the ground with their, they could touch the ground with their feet while sitting on the horse because the horses are way too small. That is the problem with this build, but it looks impressive even though it has mistakes. Oh, without Voxel Sniper? Without Voxel Sniper, then you just have to adapt to whatever tools you have. I kind of need Voxel Sniper for the smoothing brush because the World Edit smooth tool is really bad. But ultimately I go back and smooth stuff over by hand anyway, which is time consuming, but it looks better. This guy. Yeah, it's gonna naturally just take a lot longer with World Edit. The best way to smooth things with just World Edit is just doing it by hand, and it's going to be time consuming. Even with all these tools, I spend many hours smoothing stuff by hand because I'm picky about how things look. Well, if it's a cave, if it's something like terrain or a landmass, I think you don't need to be as picky about the smoothing on that because it's a, like it's a natural shape, like a, I don't know, land can be more rugged, but I understand how it can be also annoying if you see it and it's like really messy and you just want to clean it up. But this land is super messy, not as smooth as it could be. Probably because I was A, lazy, or B, it didn't need to be because it's supposed to look messy and muddy. It's supposed to look like thick mud everywhere. What mods other than World Edit do I use the most? Loft? Pretty much anything from Archeon. Archeon is my go-to for lots of things. I made the cape with Loft here. And here we've got the serif. That texture down there, pretty sure that started out using with Archeon, and then I deleted some of the pieces. This guy has a face too, by the way, if you go in up here. Look, I even used an ender chest for his eye. I don't even know why I did that, but it looked cool. Sometimes I pick blocks randomly just because I wanted just to say I used them. So I'm like, hey, look guys, I can actually say I used an ender chest for an eye, even though I didn't really need to. And you don't even see it because you can't even see his face. Time to hydrate. Oh, is that Newt entering that? It is very time consuming. And it's gonna be time consuming either way, but definitely less time consuming with the tools. What is that dark red? Oh, it's just a clump of red glass right there. This is probably one of the last things I did in this world before moving on to the next world. Actually, that one or this one over here, the pirate ship. This one was such a pain, but also I really like how it turned out. See, I think I did this water with Loft too. It made it really easy. I think I even created an image of the map myself, like in Photoshop, and then used an image brush to paste it on the paper. Because it was a lot easier to do that than, I think that's what I did here, I don't remember. Usually when it comes to a paper texture, I use the image brush, but I don't use the image brush for most things. Can I get inside here? What's the command to go? Is it through? There we go. She is kind of derpy. She looks she looks like she's dead. That's kind of creepy. Just don't look at her straight in the eyes. I don't know what my favorite Minecraft block is. I really like calcite. Favorite building block or just favorite block in general? I really like amethyst, but not as a building block. I just like it because it's amethyst. Oh, we've got a sword here. Got a treasure chest. Anchor. I sometimes have a hard time thinking up things to fill in the space with. So this is an example. Oh, I really like this fish. An example of where I couldn't think of stuff to put in here. Oh, look, and dirt hut. Gotta sneak one of those in there. Oh, you get confused using select poly and select convex? Convex is generally if you're building along a path, and poly is when you're selecting something that isn't a square. Oh, and there's another build way over here. Gotta find it. Here we go. It doesn't look like much from here. But then you get to the front. This is the only build where I just left the outside super ugly. But then you go inside and that's where the build is. I think this is one of the few ones. Oh yeah, this one's also crazy because I even went so far as to duplicate the whole thing and make a working mirror. But it's literally just the same thing, rotated and flipped and whatever on the opposite side of the mirror. So it's like the build is here twice. And then there's a Meg doll. I have another build with a Meg doll. This is the first one with a Meg doll. I think this one, if can I do? Oh, it didn't switch over. On my original world of this, this is a copy of it. I had done custom lighting in here, or I had to set the air blocks to be light source blocks or light blocks so that it would actually emit light even with the roof there. So for example, I don't think I've ever shown a video of this, so let's just do a quick demonstration. I think I used the sphere selection because it was easier. So if I have sphere and I wanted to make the fireplace glow with like Minecraft light, then I selected like that, or it can even go bigger. And you say set block light, and then it's like Minecraft block light number. So I could say 15 to be the brightest. Too many arguments. Maybe the command changed. Maybe it's broken. Well, that's what you used to do. That's what the command used to be. Maybe it doesn't work the same now. I'm not going to try to figure it out. But anyway, that's what I did at this build originally. But this is just a copy of it. And there's the copied... That's how I did the mirror effect. I just have it twice. Yes, I've heard of Axiom. I haven't used it. Don't know if I need to use it either, but maybe I'll try it out sometime. Oh, so those were all the builds, I think from... Oh, see, this one. This is the guy from my, the organics tutorial, where I built him without using any commands. So he was built entirely by hand. And I know he's not as big as some of these other things, but you could do something like this pretty easily. I did him twice. This was my first attempt and I didn't like it, so I tried it again. Did that. Got some random assets. These are like, I don't know if you recognize what these are from, but I save base models for things. Oh, look at that. I wonder if you can tell what that is, or what that is, the ship before I rotated it. Look at a miniature model I did of it. Oh no, or was that the one that glitched? Might have been the one that glitched. Really weird. So we got a bunch of assets. I like to save stuff, even though I'm probably never going to use it again. Oh, and then we get into contest builds. So these are ones that I've done for various contests. I will say this one, I cannot stand this build. It looks so bad because her face is being completely blocked by all of this, and that's why it looks so bad. And of course, I didn't place in that contest. It was very bad, but the part I do like about it is my little doves in the window. That's the only part I like about it. There's like, I forget how many doves are featured in this castle, but there's like a ton of them. There's one there on the wall. There's these ones on the wall here. It was just a weird concept that I was trying out, but obviously it didn't work out quite right because it blocks her face. And then we've got more in here, I think. Yeah, there's one there, one up there. And I think this was also 1.12, so limited block palette as usual. All of these builds I think are 1.12. What's this? This looks left over from something. I'm just gonna remove it. Then we've got the Space-Time Continuum build. And Rugged Survivor helped me build this one. Although I did most of it. And what's funny is I've seen people use the same concept that I made up. I've seen people copy this in other contests, and I know exactly where they took it from when I see them do that, because, I mean, I'm the one who created it. So, and we've got this was from the Color Clash contest. No, I think did I place in this one? I might have gotten 3rd place with this one, and I got 3rd place with this one, and I got 3rd place with this one. But I've only ever gotten 3rd place in contests, so I've never gotten better than 3rd place. I think there was another contest where I got 3rd place, but I don't have the build anymore. And then this was also for a contest that I built with Sean Bits, and we didn't place at all with this one because it really wasn't on theme, and that's why. I guess the theme was kind of lost. Anyway, those are my contest builds. By the way, if there's like a build you want to see specifically, and if I have a world with it, I will go to it and show it to you in more detail. You just gotta let me know. If there's like one that you can think of. But I am trying to also go through all of them. But I can always go back if there's one that you want to look at more closely. These are just a bunch of random flower assets. I don't even remember what they were all used for, but some of them are from this, some of them are from other things. And I think that's everything in this world. It's got a lot of my stuff from 2018 through 2020 or 2019. It's like at least 2.5 years of building in here. No, maybe 2 years of builds in here. And then, oh, let's go to what's that other world I have? I have a special world where we built the again, this was built a long time ago, so it doesn't have all the DLCs, but all the Super Smash Bros. Characters. And I had help with this too. So I did most of them, some of them I did not build. Like, I didn't build Wario, and I didn't build DK. Yeah. Those guys are all laid out. Where is the final build? The final build is somewhere over here. I have to find it. Ah, here we go. I don't know if you've seen this video, but this took so long to make. This took like 6 months to make this build because these characters took so long. Like, imagine spending 3 to 4 hours per character, then you've got 70 of those. So yeah, I think it's 70 characters. And like I said, it doesn't have the DLC because I built this before they were all added. And I also have only played this game for the first time like within the last year, so I didn't really know who all the characters were. I don't really play it. I've only played it like one time last December. But the one time I did play it, I really liked Palutena. She was my favorite. I'm also glad that my build of her is one of my favorites too. One of my favorite poses. She's got one of my favorite poses of all of these. I was trying to like find poses that they would actually do in the game and do those. And a lot of them, like Peach and Daisy, they don't have a face because they're too small to have a face. Except Samus. I did not build Samus here. Somebody else did. And he managed to give her a face. I don't know how he did that, but it's really tiny. To get the Mii characters. Generic ones. I'm never doing that again. I'm never doing that kind of build again. Took way too long. Cheese Fruit has an actual question. How do you build petals to make them have depth and look like, well, petals? Talk about flower petals? These were the early stages of a different build, if I can find it. This build I did not make a video of Mipha. I just built her for fun, but I really, really like this build. It's so clean. I never did a video on her though, like I said. Oh, here's a flower. Why is this over here? I didn't even know this was in this world. It's also in a different world. This was an experiment with Loft, where I was trying to learn how to make a rose using Loft. Is this what you saw before? And is this what struck your, made you think of your question? Like this? Well, this one was pretty easy because you just start in the middle and then just keep layering them outward. I don't know. I'll have to show you some smaller flowers when I get to a build with smaller flowers and we can look at those. That one's pretty not normal for a flower. It's kind of big. Oh, I do like Mipha's eyes. I love her eyes. They're simple, but pretty. How do you make decisions for which blocks to choose? I just choose based on color, strictly on color, and what color I need. And then for things like her skin tone, like, you know what her skin tone needs to look like or in general, but this is a very hard color to match because I needed to have a block that is darker for a shadow. And looks like I ended up using sandstone, oak, and endstone to get her skin texture, but that's because I needed to have multiple colors for some of the darker spots. Sometimes for things like that, if you don't have good colors, you just kind of have to experiment till you find something that looks okay. But for I don't know, for the most part, if I need a pink block, I'll pick a pink block, or, you know, I'll just pick one that has the color I need. But then you also need to think about the lightness and darkness of the block. Did I go through all of these? I think I have a few more on the... Before I go into the world with all my, like, newer stuff. I think I've got one more 1.12 world, and that's the stream one. I did go there to look at the Fairy Tale build. But this also has this Link and Zelda. And well, I don't know why he is there. I think it's because I was in the middle of doing stuff. There's that flower again. And this random peacock I made in a stream. And this random penguin I made in a stream, but it's really cute. And that's it over here. Not much over here in this world. I will show you my Flower Forest cheese fruit up close, because that's got a lot of flowers. Actually, all of my newer stuff has a lot of flowers, or what are these ones like? These ones are really tiny, and for these, I was focusing more on the colors to get the shape. So like I did a light red on the outside and a dark deep red on the inside. But there aren't individual petals, it's just the colors that makes them look like flowers. Or the shading, I guess. I'm going through this a lot faster than I thought I would. I've already been streaming for an hour. I've gone through most of these builds. We just got the new ones. Or is it just 1.19? Oh, is it 1.19.2? Oh, that's what it is. So this has got all the newer stuff in it. The very first thing I built in this was the Christmas build. So this world, so after 1.12, like all of those past builds were done in 1.12. And then I had a new server created. That's this server, but I just like moved those worlds to the server. When this server was created, it was 1.16. So this was my first 1.16 build, but now it's 1.19, so it's got like anything from 1.16 to now. So have more block options, which is nice. But this was the Christmas build. There's the other Meg doll. I've only done 2 of those. This is George. I think his name is George. He's got his name on the back somewhere. Wait. Oh yeah, it's just George. It's just George chilling up there. This took a long time. I think, if I recall correctly, I built all of these, all of the light bulbs on the string of lights. I think I did all of those by hand to make sure that they're like evenly spaced and going different directions. And it took me like an hour or more just to build the lights. It took a long time. Or maybe 3 hours, I don't know. It took a long time. The Christmas tree, that would be an interesting one. This, if I had to do it again, I would do it differently. This is like a bunch of sticks revolved around each other. So you can kind of see that I think I built 1/4 of the Christmas tree, or one small section of it, And then I just used the revolve command from Archeon to rotate the whole thing like multiple times. But it's kind of a bit much. I probably wouldn't overdo it if I did it again with the branches. Like, it's got too many branches in it. But it works okay. And then I also added fences for all the smaller branches. And all of the ornaments do attach to the tree in some way. There's the Ender Dragon. The Ender Dragon ornament we added. I love the ornaments. They're so funny. I've got some funny ones in here. Oh, look. See, this is the Mechasis. I forgot we have the Mechasis on the tree as well. There's actually 3. So the Mechasis appears in 3 builds. The original, the Christmas tree, and the carousel. I like to reuse stuff as Easter eggs. So here we've got the Ice Dragon from the other world. And I know there's other ones in here. There's a little race car. Somewhere is... I know somewhere we've got some, like... Yeah, there... Can you tell what that is? That's Darth Vader's mask. And then there we've got the Starship Enterprise. Got a parrot. I know there has to be other builds. This is got an orca. I didn't realize how little snow there was on this side of the tree, but I guess it's okay. Got a nether portal, because why not? And there's somewhere there's the Seraph. I know I put the Seraph on the tree, I just can't find it. Because it's probably white and blending in with the snow. Oh, there's a little pirate ship. And there's a panda. It's kind of cute. And there are some snowflakes. I think I have a version of the tree without snow. Where is it? Hold on, and all of these assets. Oh, never mind, it's not decorated. I see, here's a version of the tree without snow before, but it's not decorated. Go back. So anyway, that's the Christmas tree. Then we've also got a little snow globe, little nativity. Even though it's technically inaccurate, the wise men were not there at the birth of Jesus. But you know what? I put them there anyway because that's how it's typically sold, even though it's incorrect. We've got a bunch of presents. Got a little gingerbread house. And all of these houses that took a long time because they're actually kind of thought out. They don't have interiors, but they are like thought out as far as the exteriors go. And same for these. Oh, these ones have some window displays. This is Gimli's toy shop. And over here we've got Pringles cakes. I think people gave me suggestions for what to name some of these. And then over here we've got Frodo's fashions. And then we've got the Gamgee greenhouse. So yeah, lots of fun stuff like that. This dog is adorable. I love this dog. And that is my Evermore castle. We can ignore that. I think I just pasted it in here for... I needed it to compare with something else, so... I didn't actually build this in creative. That was built entirely in survival and then pasted into the creative world, so... Then we've got Ahsoka. She's one of my favorites. She looks amazing. I really love this build. I love her face. I think her face turned out really nice. See, let me see if I can slow down a bit. So when it comes to eyes like this one, I added more depth, you can tell. You kind of have to think about building it deep, like into the eye, so that you can add more texture and not just make it flat across the front of the face. Something else I also try to think about though is how it looks from the side. It still needs to look like an eye from the side and not be so sunken in that you can't see it at all from the side. Okay, let's go look at these flowers. Was it, Cheese Fruit was asking about flowers. This has lots of flowers for us to look at. This one's pretty obvious because the petals are very separated, but then I also did texture on each petal, so we've got like the dark edges and then the light edges and highlights. I think that one was tricky to do because there weren't a lot of good pink blocks to use, and still aren't, so it's really hard to get those to look right. Like I had to use purple for the lightest, and then yeah, the crimson hyphy for the darkest. But it works somehow. And these ones are just a solid shape, and just the edges are separated for the individual petals. So I didn't actually build individual petals on that, it's just kind of one solid shape. The pansies are kind of separated. The purple acts as like a border for each petal, so it helped me see the separation of the petals. Like this one is sitting back this is sitting back one block behind this one. So I made sure of that. I made sure from the back it doesn't matter as much, but from the front, I made sure that these weren't on the same level, so that they're sitting one block away from each other so that you get that sense of depth. But yeah. And then these ones don't have any kind of... These ones are just random brushed pink blocks, I think. They don't have any individual petals at all. So it just depends on what kind of flowers you want to create. Let me see. Oh, these ones, these flower petals were really... I didn't know how to do them, so they're not even individual petals really. I think I just did maybe loft and like kind of like a squiggly around and just kind of made it up. It's not accurate to how the flower is actually made, but I just made a texture that looked like a flower for those ones. And they were very hard to make. Those ones, I did not enjoy making those. This one was easy because, whoa, why do we have a purple block there? That's a mistake. You saw nothing. Saw nothing. There was no purple block back there. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, the same concept for this big one, though, is each petal is overlapping another, but it's a lot easier, of course, on a large scale like this. Mr. Bumblebee. Let's see, what else? Well, I've got all of my Bible builds back there, but first... Oh, I think this was the one I did for the tutorial, how to build organics. That was the only reason I made this, was to use it as an example. I am going so slow. Let's speed it up. Here we've got Esther. You can tell these are my newer builds because they look a lot cleaner than that other world. You can just see the difference. And a lot of it has to do with how they're textured and how they're shaped. Esther also has pretty nice eyes, but very simple. I don't even think I'm that great at doing eyes. I've seen other people do them much better than me. Here we've got Samson. He doesn't have eyes though, he is blind. He's just got holes where his eyes should go. These were all built in 1.16, so the world height at the time was this. But now it's in 1.19, so I only have a couple builds that go above this. But all of these were built in 1.16, and that's why I'll stop right up here, because that was the world height. Then we've got Adam and Eve. This build is pretty big. And see, the ground is really simple. It doesn't need to be complicated because it's got a lot of complex stuff on top of it. So I left the ground very, very simple and basic because all of the detail is in the plants. And the llama. Llama! He's so cute. And then we've got our toucan. Snake. Armadillo. And then, is there something I missed over here? I don't think so. I think it's just a bunch of assets. Then we did Joseph. I built him 3 times. I think this was the last one I did, right? This was the one I did earlier this year. Or finished earlier this year. And just got 3 scenes of him. You can watch the videos for all of these, but I'm just kind of flying around them. I wasn't sure what to do with this one, and yeah, those paintings took forever. They took a long time to do those little paintings on the sides. I think the hardest thing about this one was trying to make it look like the same person 3 times over. Oh, and then let's go look at the carousel, shall we? Where's the carousel? There's the carousel. Which, like I said from the earlier question, I would say the carousel's probably been the hardest one just because of all the, I did have to redo it once, and I was trying to build it to look like as accurate as possible to a real carousel would look. So like, for example, like this one here, it's on a turning bar. So this one will actually, like, you know, go up and down theoretically on the carousel. This one too. And this one too. So some of them are attached to these bars that would rotate and make them move. And then others are just static and they don't move at all. And then figuring out where to place them on the carousel, where it makes sense. Yeah, this was definitely the hardest one. The roof, I think what I did is one section, because it's all because it's all symmetrical, I just took one piece of this. So like this, so like from that corner to that corner, probably. I did one piece, and then you take that and you just like use the revolve tool and revolve it however many sections it is. Was it 16 times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I think 16. So I'd take a piece, revolve it 16 times, and then it would just automatically fill in. But of course that required also wireframing it and making sure it's gonna line up. Like, you have to make sure it's going to connect at the same spot and all of that. And then there's cleanup work afterward too. I think I smoothed it by hand a little bit because it was kind of messy. Let's just say I used Revolve a lot with this build. A lot. A lot of it can be done with Revolve, the repeating of stuff. Oh, there's Megasis again. So cute. I think I smoothed it by hand, but I didn't create it. I think I created it with Loft. You'll have to go watch my video about it. I forget what I did. I forget what I do for lots of things. This was 2 years ago now that I did that. It's crazy. Was it really 2 years ago? I'm pretty sure it was 2021 that I did that. Oh, and just because we have to show it. For anyone that used to watch all those live streams I did building the carousel, you'll appreciate this. I have all my backup assets of the carousel over here. And we've got all of our horses all laid out here on the ground. And then of course we also have Horsoka that we just made randomly. She's just kind of chilling with the rest of the horses. So these are all the horses not attached to the carousel, because sometimes I would export them and render them individually, so I just did it to all of them because I didn't know which ones I wanted to do that with. And there's 32 horses. And here's a version of the carousel before I finished texturing everything. You see, I've got different pieces like highlighted in different blocks just to map it out. Here's a version of the carousel before the horses were colored. So you can see how it slowly gets pieced together. Like this version, I've just got spokes, straight spokes coming out. They're not attached to anything. I'm like just figuring out the placement of the horses, which took me a while. And then this one, you can see I've added more detail to this. I've actually turned those spokes into actually built things attached to the horses. So yeah, it's just, you have to just, for something like this, you start with framing it, the framework, and then gradually add the details to it. You can't just do the details all at once, it's too complicated. Go back to it. I think I can delete this one. This was here for something else. All right. Oh, I missed 2 blocks. There's the carousel. I don't think I would ever remake it because this is 256 blocks tall, and if I had to remake it again, that means it would have to be bigger, and I'm not going to do that. And I think it's fine the way it is. Oh yes, I forgot about this. And then over here we've got the ice castle. Oh, you know what happened? Oh, this is actually the back of the castle. I'm looking at it backwards. But I had something happen in this world where I guess the biome wasn't set correctly, and all of the ice on my castle started to melt. And I was like, and it's still kind of messed up, I think, in some places. Like there, you'll see there's ice missing, and it's because literally the biome changed on me, or something changed, and like all of the ice started to melt. And I was like, why? What is happening? And like this whole bridge was just a waterfall of water because it was all melting. And I tried to fix a little bit of it, but I think I switched the biome back to something where it wouldn't melt. I think it's fixed now. I'm using the World Edit CUI mod to see my selection. No, my PC wouldn't explode. Here, we can up it. Let's go all the way up. See what happens. It might explode. We never know. Actually, this is a very bad spot to do that because of all the blocks it has to load in. But look. Oh, see? See what happened to the windows? All the ice melted. Oh well. It looks perfect in the video, and that's what matters. Even some of this melted. This is all supposed to be carpet. I don't have time to come back here and just fix it. I'm just like, whatever. I've got the video of it, and that's all I really needed. If I really wanted to come back and fix it, I could, but oh well. A lot of it melted. Sad day for the ice castle. I want to do more castles similar to this one, but I haven't had. They're just not a priority right now. Oh my goodness, where are we going? It's this way. We don't need 4K. This is Minecraft. Every block is 16 pixels. Anyway, we're not keeping it there. It is possible, but we're not going to do that. Let's go down to... Sure, that one. Now we've got to wait. We were on Ludicrous, and it was running pretty good. For how long have I been building? Large-scale things like this, I started trying to get into them in 2017, except I say 2017, but really the first big builds I did were 2018. But 2017 was when I was first getting interested in it. So... And then we've got the newer stuff. Spring Dragon. This was one I did this year. Hello, Soldier Dog. I think this is, do you remember the Twisty Tree in that other build? This was the second time I did a Twisty Tree. I think it took me over 4 hours just to paste the flowers in. And that was using a schematic brush. I used a schematic brush to place the flowers on this tree. So this one, I think this is built in 1.19, right? What is the height here? Yeah, because we're at like 317-ish. So this is taller than most of the other builds. It's taller than the carousel because it's a different version. Oh, and because this world was created in 1.16, if I want to build taller, I can build them lower too. Because this was the old position of the bedrock, and that's the new position way down there. So, and then we've got the summer dragon that I just did a few weeks ago. You can see how he compares to the spring dragon. And I've already started the next dragon. That's the one I'm currently working on. So for this guy, it was really smoothing took the longest for him because he's so big. And I think I did hollow this build. I usually don't hollow builds, but I had to hollow this one because there was so much inside of it that was unnecessary space, taking too long to load it in and render it and all of that. There's a summer dragon, and I think that really, aside from the one I'm currently working on, I think that's everything I've done in the past however many years? 5 years of mega builds, as far as mega builds are concerned. Of course, I've done other stuff in survival, but the new dragon I'm working on, make sure I'm in the right spot, is right over here. I'll give you a sneak peek of this. I mean, I might live stream it eventually anyway, I just haven't yet. But this is the setting for my next build that I'm currently working on. No, I would never sell my world. It is my world. I put hundreds of hours into it, and I would never sell it. Probably thousands of hours, I don't even know. It's kind of in ugly early stages right now, but this is the next dragon I'm working on. It's going to be a wyvern, so it's going to have the wings coming out of the front legs. And the last thing I did was the feet. I spent like an hour on each foot, I think, trying to shape it and like build it out, and I still don't know if it looks good yet, but still working on it. And I built this whole land mass that I'm gonna have to fill in with stuff. Yes, this is the current project. And as far as time management goes, just work on it a little bit every day, or some days I don't work on it at all. Depends on what I'm doing. But I just sit down, like yesterday I think I did those 2 feet, and they each took me like 50 minutes to do. And I just do it while I'm doing something else or listening to something. But yeah, that's all of my builds here. Does anyone have any specific ones they want to go back and look at? Carousel's my favorite. Of course, we've got all the beautiful horses. No, I don't sell any of my builds. I don't make any money doing this. The only money I make doing this is from YouTube ads, and that's like practically nothing. It's just pocket change. I have a full-time job outside of this. This is not my job. I don't even know if I could make this a full-time job unless I did something like Marketplace, but usually Marketplace builds are not builds that I like to do, the kinds that people sell. I like to build works of art, not player scale stuff, so there's not really a market for this type of build. What is anyone gonna do with this? They're just gonna look at it and admire it, but it's not really usable for anything. So I just like to build for fun. Oh, I guess we could do an Evermore tour. I didn't think about that, but Evermore is a new version now, so I would have to switch versions, which is very possible. It'll just take some time. So if I did switch to Evermore, I would have to, we have to finish touring these worlds first, because it's a different version, and I would have to, like, change the mods I'm using and stuff. So, oh yeah, these are just different assets from the Adam and Eve build. Or Samson before I colored him. More assets of different things. Frog. See, here's how the frog looked before I colored him and after I colored him. He's so cute. The frog is really cute. Now, I forget what this was. This might have been something that I was going to put in the final build and didn't. Oh no, I remember. This was something I think I did in the live stream. Just for fun. So it's kind of like the box of decorations that didn't make it onto the tree. And we put a little Santa doll in there and train. But it's actually not in the finished build. I don't think it is. Pretty sure it's not. And then here, this is a copy of the Mechasis from before, but next to this mini Mechasis. You can see them together. I think I had to copy him over here so I could copy him while I like rebuild him on a smaller scale for the carousel. And that's why I did that. Would I ever go back to... Wait, sorry. Would I ever go back and relive learning about building and starting out? I don't know from what perspective I'm supposed to answer that question. Are you saying, would I do it all again? Is that what you're saying? Or if I had the chance to like do it or not do it, would I do it again? Is that what you're asking? Because the learning experience is never really fun. Learning how to do anything takes a lot of effort and frustration. There's always a lot of frustration. I see, it depends. Because if we're gonna pose this hypothetical, it also depends on what else is going on. The only reason I was able to get into building and all that stuff is because I have loads of free time and I needed to use it for something. So I kind of just started doing this and just kept doing it. But it's the only reason I'm able to continue doing it is because I still have loads of free time and not enough responsibilities pretty much outside of work. So if I had the free time, I probably would do it again, yeah. But if I didn't have the free time, probably not. It just depends. Hello, Dazzled. Yeah, I like looking at the new stuff more than the old stuff. We can go back to the old world though, just for fun. Maybe we'll go to Evermore too, if you want a quick Evermore tour, even though that really wasn't the purpose of this stream. Uh-oh, my server's not responding. I don't know. I don't think I can. I don't think it's possible to do this kind of stuff for a full-time job. At least not the kind of stuff I do. I don't think there's enough market for it. But it does get old. I get just as tired of building as any person. Like, I don't always enjoy doing it, but I kind of force myself to sometimes just because I don't like to leave things unfinished. So now we're back on all the 1.12 builds. These are really old. You can tell a big difference between these and the other ones. Yeah. Time, you've already seen Evermore. I mean, this is technically an Evermore stream, or in place of my Evermore stream. But I guess I should get any other questions about building, specifically mega builds, out of the way. I don't know about that. I'm not doing any actual gameplay if I'm just tutoring it. There are some builds too in a single player world that I could show you that has some of my first organics. You know what? I can go there. Let me do that. Let me go show you some of the first organics I ever made. And then we can do Evermore. But I'm gonna do the BRB screen while I get it loaded, because I just want to make sure I'm not spoiling anything in this world. Because this is like a world that I use to design all kinds of new stuff. I mean, I do get burned out, but I always make sure to come back even if I did get burned out. Like, I don't know how to describe it. There have been times where I just like really lazy, didn't want to work on anything, and then, but I would just force myself to sit and work on something for a little bit. Okay, here. Let's go to this world. This world is where I do a lot of my tutorial stuff. And then this random thing. And it's got a few random early builds in it too, and I just kind of kept it going. So it's got a lot of old statue designs. It's got several statue designs that I'd never made tutorials for. It's got all my trees. All the tree types that I try to do tutorials for. Yeah, this is where there's like a random train build over there that I did a tutorial for. It might be unlisted now, but it was one of the first videos I made. No, I don't really remake old builds, except unless it's like these for a tutorial, then I might remake it better because a lot of these are really bad. For example, the dragon portal that's really popular. I remade that one to look much better. Okay, here we go. Let me, I can't fly fast on here because it's not on a server. It's just in single player. So it takes forever to navigate. Let's lower our render distance just so we can focus on one thing at a time. So Elsa, she was my first organic or large-scale organic. She was done entirely by hand and she looks awful. She's got crooked arms. She's got a diagonal square face because I was just, you know, I didn't know what I was doing. This is my very first attempt at doing anything like this. And look at how messy her dress is and her legs. Everything is messy, but everything was also done by hand, and I didn't really know anything about smoothing or anything. So she was the first organic that I remember ever making. And then I made the Flash, and he is also 100% made by hand. And also very messy and not smooth. If I were to build all these things by hand now I actually know how to smooth and stuff, so it would turn out much better, but again, this was my first attempt. And it looks so bad. From the side, you can't really tell, but from the front, He's also like got the wrong proportions. So it looks really, really bad. And then you can have a local host for a server. You'll have to look into how to do that. Or you can pay for one. Oh yes, I do. I have done not very much, but I've modeled a couple things in Blender before, but not very often. I've only done like a couple things. But I have an art channel where I do other art stuff. And then this one was also built by hand. Also pretty bad, and I think he's off balance. Like, he shouldn't be able to... He should be lean further forward or something. He's kind of off balance. And I can't fly there very quickly. But this was my first attempt at that mermaid build that I showed you before. And this was done just with World Edit. Wait, was it this one? Did I build the entire thing? Yeah, I actually built this build twice. So this was the first time I did it with just World Edit. And it's a little bit different. And then I decided, and then I found out how to get, I was able to use Voxel Sniper on Builder's Refuge. So I rebuilt the entire thing with Voxel Sniper. But honestly, they both look the same. But at the time, I thought it was so much better. I'm like, wow, I can actually use Voxel Sniper now to smooth it. But no. Yeah, that Spider-Man is definitely way off balance. Fly quicker if you blink slowly. Hey, that actually kind of works. And then I built that Mario Bowser thing with very limited knowledge of World Edit also. And then that ship as well. Like, that ship is like, and this is me just learning how to use the rotate command and copy, flip, paste. Like, that's the extent of my World Edit knowledge at the time, was copy, flip, paste, and how to use a sphere brush. It's like all I knew. So yeah. Those old builds. Oh, and then there's another, well, yes, there is that one, but then there is Pauline, is that her name? She was also built by hand, but she's much smaller and also uglier. She's pretty bad. You can get over there. Sequel builds? I mean, I do builds in a series, like I'm doing my dragons. So I've got my spring dragon, summer dragon, and I'm making an autumn dragon, and I'm going to make a winter dragon. I do things in series sometimes. Got my Bible build series. These are some bridge designs that never made it into a tutorial. But I also designed them years ago, so they're pretty old and ugly looking. But, you know, if I ever do a bridge tutorial, there's a start. My Lego man that I was actually really proud of, but didn't get very many views. But if you want to go build this Lego man, I have a very old tutorial for it. Yeah, this is mostly tutorial stuff. Alright, I think I can go switch to Evermore now. But before I switch to, as I switch to Evermore, I'm just gonna be right back real quick. And then I can get it all set up, but I do have to be right back as well, so when I come back, then we can do the Evermore tour. Alright, I'm back, but I'm gonna, as the new version, Minecraft is loading up, I can answer questions. Would I ever go into Lego territory builds? You mean building with physical Lego? I don't see the need. Lego is too expensive. Minecraft is basically virtual Lego and much cheaper. I'll stick with Minecraft. And it also doesn't take up as much space. My game sounds for this one. Yes, if you can back up the stream, I don't know if you can on Twitch, but I just showed off the build that I started working on, the Fall Dragon. Oh no, I'm sorry, I misread your question. Any builds that I have done that I didn't make it into a video, and there were a couple of those. Oh, there was one I forgot to show everybody. We might have to go back to it, but we'll do a quick tour of Evermore, however quick that is. If I have to switch back to creative again and switch my game version, I will do it. There were a couple. Short answer is yes. There are a couple things that I have done that did not make it into a video. Hold on. I need to do that. So, I'm going to do a quick Evermore tour, apparently. This is usually what I'm streaming on Saturdays, and usually I only stream it on Twitch, but I'm doing this one on both YouTube and Twitch because it's kind of a special one, and I don't want to deal with you right now. Go away. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Not the way I wanted to go. We'll start at the beginning. We'll start at spawn. And touring Evermore can take a long time. By the way, if you want to get the latest, I have a download of Evermore in the latest download video. I forget what it's called. Search for Evermore download. The year 3 download should have most of the stuff in it. We've barely added anything else since then, I think. But anyway, we've got Spawn. This is Spawn. I built a giant castle on Spawn. Everything that was built here, actually, let me think about that. I think, at least for me, all the stuff that I built on here, most of it I designed and built in survival, but I might have done some smaller things in creative first, but most of the stuff I build in here is designed in survival. So like this castle, for example. Yeah, if you watch my Evermore videos, I can't remember what episode this was. I dedicated a whole episode just to this castle, which took me like a month or 2 to build. Because it's got an interior too. Got full interior. You can go and explore it. This is like a secret passageway into the inside. We've got our members over there. Got a throne room. I am not going to tour the entire castle because we are supposed to tour all of Evermore, so I'm not going to be able to tour the whole thing. But let's see. It's got all these layers and library. There's bedrooms too, like a few bedrooms, I think up here. Yeah, this took quite a while, didn't it? Took quite a few streams to build all of this. I think I did live stream most of it. Yeah, everything was done on the live stream. And it's all spawn proof, or it should be, except for down there. I don't think the land is spawn proof. Yeah, there's creepers and stuff. You can also go through here. Wait a minute, is that a pillager in a boat? Did I put him there? I must have put him there. Oh, it's Ebenezer! Ebenezer, what are you doing in a boat? He used to be wandering around the castle freely, but he must have wandered down here and got himself stuck in a boat. You just going for a boat ride, Ebenezer? Anyway. So moving on from spawn, I'll just go to Cortez's base since it's pretty close. Actually, we can fly to several places from here. And we've got Cortez Arena's base. And I don't think I'm going to go in all of the buildings, but this is supposed to be Edoras, I believe. Lord of the Rings. Looks really nice. Oh, there's a, what is that called? Is it a stray? No. I'm just leaving. And then if we fly this direction, there are a lot of little things we have scattered throughout. I'm not going to show all of them because it would take too long. We have a little maze. It's the bee maze. And then further this direction, I think is, yeah, Danny's base is right there. Yes, this is the SMP. I play on this server every Saturday, and I live stream it on Twitch every Saturday. This stream I'm currently doing is in place of the regular stream. I would be building stuff on here, but instead this week I'm just touring different worlds and builds, but usually I'm playing in here. And I usually stream the same time every Saturday, or roughly around the same time. And then over here we've got the end tower. It's just gotta load in. It's right there. So that's where our end portal is. Let me go inside there. Oh, this world has been going on for what, 3 years? 3 years now? Well, that's right, because I said three-year download. I'm not gonna go into the end. There's really not many builds in there, but we'll go look at some other places. Let's go to people's bases first that we haven't seen. We won't go to mine just yet. Time, I don't think you have anything built at your base yet, do you, for us to look at, really? I know you're working on stuff, but... This is Bobbert's base. Oh, it's a lot of torches over there, I didn't even know. I believe Lilith pranked him and placed all of these like thousands of flowers all over his base, and they just never removed them. Yeah. Bobbert's place. I like those beacons there. And then my base is, I think, in this direction. A little ways from here. Oh, he's got a road going that way. Yes, they belong to all of us. I say we all the time. Where's the jungle? My base is in the jungle. Here it is. How's my elytra doing? I'm gonna give you the, this is the very brief Evermore tour because I'm not going to go in detail on each location, but you can download it and explore these places yourself. Wow, we're looking at my base from the back. It doesn't look as good from the back. Over here we have the archery range. It's an actual game you can play. Over here we've got a Christmas snow globe in the middle of the jungle. Because I wanted to do something for Christmas, and so I just put it there. And then we've got my main base of operations. And I've got allays, parrots, and bees, and ocelots, and pandas, and all kinds of creatures like that in here. A lot of allays. If I need them, I just come here to get them, and I can duplicate them. Got a bunch of pandas living down here. One of them is a lazy panda, I don't know which one. None of those are not the lazy one. Is this the lazy one? Maybe. But there's too many bushes around. What just happened? I killed a panda. Don't worry, guys. We'll make a new one. Did he really die from... I didn't know they could die from those bushes. I might have to take those out. Here, guys. Apparently so. Learn something every day. Are you guys... I just gave you hearts. It's not working. Try it again. Okay. Well, we can try later. I'm not gonna get caught up in that. Apparently, yeah, don't put berry bushes with pandas. It can hurt them. And I have a trading hall over there, but we're not gonna go in there right now. And other things. Let's go out. I'm trying to think of... We have several community places we could look at, like the 1.18... Is it 1.18 village, and then the swamp village, and the floating islands that are not finished. There's a lot of other random places, but I'm not going to go to them all because it would take too long. But we have to stop by the Axolotl Kingdom at least. This has been my ongoing project. My underwater city. This is what I'm usually working on in streams nowadays. Unless I get sidetracked on a different project. Okay. Why am I not swimming? I'm not swimming. I'm like stuck in fly mode. Hold on. I'm still stuck in fly mode. There's something going on. Let me land over here first. I need to swim. Okay. That's better. Now I'm swimming. And this is the quick tour. We're just gonna swim around the whole thing. Go in the dolphin tunnel. I have dolphins everywhere to give speed boosts. This is like the central building. This was the first building that was built. That's the theater. A lot of these buildings are empty, but some are not. It was a remake of that sunken ship. This is another ship, but kind of like a building. See, like all of these rooms are empty, but they're all colorful and pretty. Oh, and where's that jellyfish forest? There's my blue axolotls. And the jellyfish forest. And this was the thing that was in my last episode that I just uploaded yesterday, where I built the turtle house. And, oh yes, and my skeleton horses. Got tons of them. We're always getting more. Because we get a lot of thunderstorms. And that's it for this place. That was the brief look at everything. Let's go look at something else. Okay, that's the castle. We've been there. There are some people's bases that don't play on here anymore, but there's at least one person. I kept the base even though it wasn't finished, and that person doesn't play on here anymore. Now, who was it earlier in the stream that asked to see the museum? Because that's the whole reason we're here. Here's the museum, and we're actually going to be adding to it, hopefully, in the next episode. I'm hoping. The museum is still not finished. But I've been distracted with other things, so I haven't worked on it lately. So far, we only have 2 corners of it filled in. Technically, yes. Technically, I own it. Although I have a friend hosting it for me. So here we have a miniature model of the end. I'm hoping that if there ever is an end update, that will get filled in better. And this is the this is supposed to represent the gateway to get to the end. So you've got your portal, and then you drop down, and then you're in the end. Over there's a what is it? Prismarine. Guardian Farm. That's what it, Guardian Farm. Oh yeah, I love the touch of adding the crystals floating around the dragon in the center. There's the dragon egg in the center. And I've got crystals on the wall. I had surrounded them by glass just to be sure we don't accidentally shoot them. Not that people are in here shooting things, but you know. And then over here is an underwater section. I've got... Did I ever get this? Future home of the Elder Guardian. I think I was gonna switch that with something different because I'm not bringing an Elder Guardian here after all. But we've got some turtles. Got some... This did have dolphins, unless they're all gone now. Which it looks like they are. This has axolotls, this has fish, and this has some regular guardians. Yes, this is the one that I have a tutorial for, this one. Oh, there is one downside to building large buildings like this in survival. Even though it is spawn-proof on the inside, it is not spawn-proof against phantoms. And apparently that ceiling is tall enough where phantoms can still spawn in here. So that's just something to keep in mind if you ever want to build big stuff in survival. The phantoms can still spawn. Now, we are on a mushroom island. I think phantoms always can spawn on mushroom islands, but the museum itself is not in the mushroom island biome. I extended the island to fit that. So that is why there are torches and stuff everywhere. Because it's a different biome altogether. But I think even if it were on the island, the phantoms would still spawn. And little bee farm, got a spider, giant flowers. It's all nature themed here, so we've got a lot of animals and flowers, things like that. Yeah, they can spawn anywhere. The worst thing ever added to the game. My elytra doing? It's doing all right. We'll go to these villages over here. We'll start at the actually kind of confused. This is the 1.18 village, I believe. We need to label these though, because I always forget what is what. This was the village that we did when we updated to 1.18. We did this and we forced ourselves to start with no tools. So kind of like we were starting a new game and build something. So we didn't have all our good tools when we built this, and we built it in 24 hours. Like, we started from scratch and built this in 24 hours. So we have like a little mine that we had to use because we had to get resources. And we kept it pretty basic. But how many people was this? 4 or 5 people? I forget. That's how much we did in 24 hours of just starting it. Just starting in Minecraft. I think we did allow ourselves... I don't remember if we allowed ourselves to keep the armor or not. We might have had some exceptions. Where is the swamp village now? This is going to the... yeah, the gold farm. I need to figure out how to turn off fog because I can never find Swamp Village. I thought it was over in this direction. Oh, there it is. Then when we upgraded to whatever version this was added, we had to build something there too. Was this another 24-hour thing? I forget. It might have been another 24-hour thing, but this time we allowed ourselves to use our actual tools. We were actually able to get more done, but it was still 24 hours. And we got all these cute houses. And custom trees and all this stuff. I'm listening, I think my live stream playlist is just Epidemic Sound. Which, I mean, you can always go on there and listen to you can listen to their music for free anytime. It's like for creators and stuff. And I pay for it so I can use it in my videos and streams. But I'm pretty sure you could go to their website and listen to their stuff anytime you wanted to. Which way is the way back now? We'll stop by one more place, the floating islands, and then I'm going to stop the tour. Is there anything else you guys want to look at before I leave here and go back to creative? I forget what I was going to look at in creative. What was it someone said? Oh, if I had any builds that I didn't make videos out of. I was gonna go back and show you those one more time. But I think I've covered most things. I wish I had some of my older worlds to tour, but I didn't really prepare those. Like old survival worlds. I only have a couple that are even worth touring, and one of them I have a video on, so you can just go watch that video where I tour it. This one? I had to put a sign here because I couldn't remember which one it was. Hopefully more islands get built soon, but so far we just got this one. The giant cherry blossom tree. And then this one that I made of the castle ruin. This one I did design and creative first because it was so complicated. Can I land on a bird? Yay! I always get trapped every time I try to walk around on here. Yeah, there's a lot of other little things too scattered around, but I'm not going to try to find them all. Most destinations have a portal to them. That's all the big stuff. I could do a better job of labeling everything, but it just takes time and I haven't taken the time to do that. No, the cherry blossom I posted in my Discord was from my spring dragon build, I believe. Wait. I really do need to repair this. Let me do this real quick. Because next time I log in, I don't want to have to do it. So I'm gonna go repair my elytra, and then I might switch to creative again. Ouch. What do I need more of? Oh yeah, this is like all the loot. I've been collecting some templates. That's what I have so far. Can always use more glass. Elytras mend pretty quickly though, so you don't need to do much. See? It's already repaired. They always repair so fast. Alright. I will switch my Minecraft game again, and I have to close out of it and restart it because it's just how I have my folder set up. Let me see. That in there. And then I can open the game again. I just have to like swap the mods I'm using from one version to another because I'm still running both versions from the same Minecraft folder, the same directory. But my hope is to get my creative server updated to 1.20 soon. If all the plugins are stable, I will eventually do that. Do I build organics based on references or do I come up with my own stuff? Both. I mean, you can pretty much tell which one is a reference if it's a recreation of a character. And then if it isn't a recreation of a specific character, then most likely I came up with it myself. Okay, so this is where we left off, it looks like. This isn't the 1.12 world. So some things that I've done that never made it into videos. I was showing off one earlier. I'll show it again because it might be hard to find it. This doesn't really count, this scaled build, but this was one thing I did for fun to see if it would, if I would like it. Or I built this miniature house and then built a scaled up version. Never made a video out of it because it doesn't look that impressive, really. It's just kind of messy. And then this also was just like a concept I tried that I never made a video out of, where it's a butterfly made out of butterflies. And I didn't think it was good enough for a video, so I never made a video out of it. And I was right, it's not that great. And the flower is kind of weird too. I don't like the flower. Those are two things. Another thing that I never, well, did I do all of my, I think all of my contest builds have a video. Did I make a video out of this one? I don't remember. I know I made a video out of that, and that, and that. I didn't make a video out of this one because I didn't like the look of it. I just don't like it. So it never made it into a video. That wasn't even for a video, that was something else entirely. So it's just kind of a floating asset. I don't know if I would rank myself anywhere. Or, okay, rank myself, I think I would say I'm above average. But I don't know how much higher I would go with myself other than that. But I would say I'm above average. I know one thing, I'm not good enough to win any contests, at least not like with all the other good builders. Because I keep getting, no, a few years ago, back when I actually did contests, I got 3rd place like 4 or 5 times, and so I kind of gave up. But now, instead, I just help judge contests instead of actually participating in them. And I like that much better. I'd rather be a judge than a participant. Or contestant. Oh, and then the other one that I really like, that I already showed it earlier, but I'll show it again. No, it's in this world. And that's Mipha. She never got a video. But I love her. She's a very beautiful build. She was one of my better organics at the time. I don't know why I didn't make a video of her. Maybe I thought she was too simple, because it was just that. There's not really much more to it. I would say some of those people you mentioned, Boomy, I'm either on their same level or above them or below them. It really depends on who it is. See, and the better you get at doing a build, or at building, or at doing anything, your perspective changes too on other people's work, not just your own. So there's some people that years ago I thought they were really good builders, but then once I got really good at building or better at building myself, when I improve, then I can see mistakes in other people's builds as well, and then I can think, oh, they're actually not as good as I thought they were. But that's not to say they're bad. It's just that I notice more things about different people's builds. But there's still some people that do stuff that I could never do, or I don't know how to do, so I only think someone is better than me if they do stuff that I don't think I could do myself. That's the way I look at it. Go to 1.19.2. What is my username? Megray. Are you talking about like in Minecraft? Megray? Can't stand on the snow, apparently. Just fall straight through. Right, and I've kind of come to a point where I look at a build and I'm like, wow, I don't think I could do something like that. But it also takes a lot to impress me with a build because I just look, to me, anything I look at, all I see is just a lot of time and work put into it. And if anyone does that, you can build, like, that's all it takes. It's just a lot of time. At least in my experience, it does. Like this. Hundreds of hours of work. But see, I don't think, wow, that person is really skilled. I think, wow, that person spent a lot of time on that. Kind of the way I think about it. Who was it that, oh no, never mind. There was a question that I thought was there, but really wasn't. This was the cherry blossom that I posted in the Discord. That took many hours to build. Just that tree. I'm really not as patient as people think I am with my builds. I'm very impatient with them. But what helps me get through, like, many hours of building is just, either, you know, preoccupying myself with something else at the same time. Like, live streaming helps, or watching a movie simultaneously helps, or, like, listening to something simultaneously. Like, I've been listening to audiobooks, and that's nice, because then I can engage my mind in something else completely, and still just build on autopilot, because I can build on autopilot. So that works out for me, so I don't get too bored, because building can be very boring. It is very boring by itself, but I like seeing the end result, and that's why I do it. You can always go back and watch it. I might be finishing up pretty soon. I usually don't talk this much in a stream, and I've been talking non-stop for the entirety of it. Was it 2 hours and 40 minutes of it? Oh. Yeah, if that ever happens, Boomy. I don't know if that's ever gonna get finished. You know what? There's always new builders popping up into the scene that I've never heard of that do amazing work, and there's plenty out there that build better than me that I just don't know of. So honestly, offhand, I can't really say who the best builders are because there's so many. If you look at the if you look up the Kibo Organics contest, that has like all of the best builders like coming together and doing a contest. I would say if you just look at maybe you could search for it and find some people's posts about it. I don't know. Or look at my video where I looked at some of them. I don't know everyone's names that enters that, but they're some of the best builders. But they're also the only ones aware of the contest, so I'm sure there's plenty who are good that just don't enter that contest. This is the dragon I started and that I'm working on. This is where I was yesterday. I was building feet yesterday. Any final questions that you would like me to answer? I could go for probably another 10 minutes. We could make it a 3-hour stream. Yeah, there's a lot of people. And think of how many people would be doing this kind of stuff and just not posting their work, you know? Because there's plenty of talented people that don't make it publicly known. Their talent, that is. All of these ones are. This is in my creative mega builds world. But I typically either build in survival or I build in creative, and when I'm building in creative, it's large stuff like this. But again, like that was like something I was testing out for survival. Like, see that this is the castle that I built on Evermore. But look at how small it is in my creative world. I was testing it out and trying to design it in here. But when you look at it in Evermore, it looks huge. But you look at it here and it looks so small. The dragons. That was from my organics tutorial. All the little steps. I wasn't like something I necessarily wanted, the extra build height, but now that I have it, obviously I'm going to utilize it. At first I was like, not wanting it because I thought, oh, my builds are going to take so much longer now that I have extra world height because now I'm going to have to use it. But it's really not as bad as I thought it would be because I did these two dragons, or like this dragon here is using like the full height of the new world height, so it's got like 300 some blocks tall. It's going all the way down to -64 and then all the way up to whatever it is. It is nice because it allows a lot more room for detailing and composition. This one also was built with the new world height, but this one didn't require as much height. I think the butterflies go pretty high though. These go... How high does this go? Can't land on it. 318. Yeah, pretty high. What would someone have to present or show that would impress me? I'm not impressed by most things, even if it's really good. Even if it's something I can't do, I'm just not the type of person that gets impressed easily. I think there's a link to my Discord on Twitch if I'm not mistaken. If it's not there, it will be in the About section on my YouTube. I don't know what Block Fortress is. No. All of these dragons I make up. These are my own designs. My summer dragon design. The one I'm working on, my autumn dragon, is my own design. And then I already have a design for the winter one. I love this guy, he's so cute. He looks like a big puppy dog. Yeah, I've never heard of him. Sometimes I draw them. It depends on what it is. Or well, these ones I did draw. These ones I'm doing like a full drawing with, these dragon ones. But that's the only reason I'm doing that is as an excuse for content on my other channel that I never post on. So I'm only doing it for content, not because I need to. But some of the other ones, I might sketch it, at least try to figure out placement stuff. Like, I don't think I drew anything for this one. This one I just kind of free-handed and looked up a bunch of references because, you know, it's Ahsoka. You just kind of slowly piece it together. This one, I didn't really draw this one because it's just a structure. Building with a lot of detail. There's no need to draw anything really unless you're trying to get a sense of scale, and I did draw the ice castle over here because it was more complex and I was trying to make up a design. Where is it? This one I drew because I was trying to come up with features and designs for how to build it. As I have I have a much harder time building structure than I do organics. Structure is harder for me, coming up with designs and stuff. I think with Optifine, it makes the render distance bigger. And currently I'm in 1.19, so I'm running Optifine. But when I'm in 1.20, I don't have Optifine working for that yet. So I can't make the render distance as big when I'm just using like Sodium and Iris. But I'm sure there are other mods that exist to make your render distance bigger. It's a lot of both. It's World Edit. Honestly, the most useful thing from World Edit is the selection features. Like all of, because you use World Edit to select things and copy things and paste. Like that's the majority of what World Edit is used for. Shaping, I do primarily with Voxel Sniper and by hand. But like you have to use World Edit if you want to select anything and move it or reposition it or copy it or rotate it. And then World Edit is also used, like selections are also used with things like Archeon. If I wanted to revolve something, I would have to select it first with World Edit. So that's kind of what World Edit is mostly used for. This is the Evermore Castle. You know, we could have done the Evermore tour right here. It's the same castle I just pasted in here. But this was all built in survival. Oh, we didn't go into the bedrooms last time. Oh, it actually pasted my custom banners too. That's nice. I like the design on these banners. They did a black version and a yellow version. Anyway. And that version. Builds, assets. We'll go back to this one. Just walk around. Or we can jump around the carousel. That's fun too. Wait, actually, let me go back to this dragon I'm working on. Do I impress myself? No, I don't impress myself at all. I can be like, I can like look at something and think, oh wow, I did a good job with that, but it doesn't necessarily mean I was impressed with it. Actually, this is actually really weird, but more often than not, if I impress myself, it's when if I ever look back on a specific type of video I did, like a tutorial, and you have no idea how weird it is watching yourself back. It doesn't even have to be a video. It could be anything that you wrote, or I sometimes impress myself with how well I explain things in a video. I'm like, wow, I'm surprised I explained that so well. Like, I didn't know I did it that well, like when I look back on it years later. That's kind of weird, but that's like something that has impressed me. But I'm not impressed with myself when I'm making it. It's only when I look back on it. I'm like, I'm glad I said it that way, or something weird like that. But no, I don't typically impress myself. I'm just not an excitable person. I don't know how to put it. I don't get excited easily. There's very little in this world that excites me. And maybe that has to do with me not being impressed very much. I like walking around the carousel. Easy. The ceiling is set to look like a night sky, and then the center is supposed to look like the sun. And where are we at now? Oh, we just hit 3 hours. So is there any final questions, or if there's a specific build, I've said this before, if there's a specific build you want me to look up close again, I can, but I think I've looked at most of them. I've covered most of my builds. I don't know if I can remember all these horses' names. Remember when I was repeating them over and over? I wonder if I can still remember them all. That would impress me if I could. Well, I did repeat them to myself not too long ago, but all of the horses are named and I sometimes forget them. I mean, no, I really don't. I don't think I'll be building in Minecraft forever. If something more important, you know, makes itself into my life, but right now it's just a kind of like my, for lack of a better way to put it, it's really just my time waster is Minecraft. I've got a lot of free time, so I put it into Minecraft and being creative, but I don't know if I necessarily want to quit altogether, but I can definitely see a time where I slow way, way, way down if I just get too busy for it. Currently, I'm not too busy for it, and that's why I'm able to do all this. I think I'll always enjoy the building aspect of it, but yeah, I don't know how much, if I'll have time for it forever. That's another story. If I got to a point where I was way too busy to do everything I do now, I would probably stick to... Well, I don't know. I can't say I'd stick to survival or creative because I like both so much. You know, that is kind of tied to if I ever stop playing Minecraft, if I stopped YouTube or not. Or any social media. I mean, I don't really do other social media except for on Instagram and Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it now. I usually just post my mega builds on those, but I'm not really active on them, and so I wouldn't necessarily be using those forever, but YouTube is the only one where I don't want to stop, but if I had to stop, it would be because I just got too busy in real life for it. I don't know. Time will tell. I mean, I've been doing YouTube since I was a teenager, so just not always in Minecraft. I've just always been interested in making videos and stuff. What do you mean by only building in Minecraft? What else would you build in? Or do you mean like doing other types of things? Because I do other, I have other creative things I do. I just put more focus on Minecraft because that's the one thing that I guess is getting the most attention. And it's also the thing I have a lot of ideas that I want to see done, so that's why I put a lot of time into it. Because I just have too many ideas that I want to do. Have we walked around this carousel once already? Oh yeah, I play survival sometimes, but most of the time I put into Minecraft as a game is for some kind of content. It's hard for me to find time to play it just casually, but I do enjoy playing it casually as long as the people I'm playing with are like committed to playing in the same world. That's something that's hard to find though. Because there have been times where I would play with people and then they'd stop playing after just a few months, and then I was bored because they stopped playing. That's why I started my own SMP, and I just play by myself mostly because I know that I won't get tired of playing, but I can keep things going for myself. This is more interesting. We got more jumps. I mean, I guess it depends on who you are, Boomy. Are you talking about, is it hard for me to find time? Is that question linked to the previous one, or is it a brand new question? I think I'm missing the context of it. Yeah, it is. Well, because I guess in a way Minecraft is like, it's not a job, but it feels like a job because I'm making stuff for content specifically. So anytime I'm like playing on here and I'm not making content, it feels like a waste of time. Unless I'm playing, you know, with someone that really wants to play with me, like a family member, let's say. It's just hard to find. It's hard to find time for extra casual Minecraft because I play Minecraft so much that I either don't want to play it anymore, like just for fun, or like when I am playing it, I want it to be productive to what I'm doing. If I weren't making content, I would definitely be playing it more casually, more often. But I think it's just because I already put so many hours into it that I just want to do something different for fun. Not that this isn't fun. It is fun, but I mean like with other people. I would love to do a community server, but again, I don't know if I would ever get to that point because I don't have time to play on a community server, and if I had one, I would feel like I should play on it, at least a little bit. And I also don't know how to monitor it and anything like that, but I would love to do something like that, like a survival server. I'm assuming it would be survival. But again, the reason I don't have one is because I have a hard time. I would feel bad not playing on it myself. And it's already hard enough to split my focus between creative builds and 2 survival worlds, making content out of those, and also making content that are not Minecraft related, and also having time to play other games that I want to play. You know, it's just a lot. Role-playing servers? I've never played on a role-playing server. I'm not really into role-playing of any kind. I'm not really a storyteller. I don't like playing out stories. I like creating visuals. That's my thing. I just like to make things that look pretty, but I'm not good at role-playing or storytelling. But, you know, I do get bored of building. It can be very exhausting and boring. But like I said before, I just do it because I like the end results. And then I actually feel like I accomplished something. It gives me a sense of accomplishment when I finish a build. And that's why I like it. I actually have tried Bed Wars and I don't really like it. I used to play it a little bit, but I'm not good at it, and it's PvP is just not my thing. I don't enjoy it. Alright, see ya, Boomy. Where are we at? We're at 3 hours, 11 minutes. I guess I can end it. Tomorrow is Sunday. I don't stream on Sundays, but I will be playing Zelda on Monday. So far, I've been doing my Zelda streams on Mondays only. And those streams always start roughly around 7 p.m. Central Time. Saturday is the only day, because I don't work on Saturdays. That's why I'm able to stream earlier in the day. Yes, I think I've already shown it, but we can go there again. Sometimes I will live stream working on my builds. I just haven't done it lately because I haven't found the time. This is the build I'm currently working on. I was over here earlier, just kind of flying around. The next dragon, the next seasonal dragon. You can see some groundwork for scale. It's like a scaly plate of armor. There's also gonna be spikes coming out back of that. I haven't built those yet. This head is very simple. And I'm going to put some kind of antlers or something on it too. Anyway, there's a lot to be done. Right now I'm working on the feet. This foot did not turn out as nice as that foot, and I can't figure out what's wrong with it. But I just worked on it last night, so I haven't really had a chance to clean it up. No, this is the autumn one. I'm going to fill up this whole landscape with trees that will probably go to the height limit. And then this is going to be filled with this is like a creek, so it's going to be filled with water and have streams of water going down these little drops here. I had to keep it very, very narrow because I need as much space as possible for the trees. But yeah, that's the autumn one. I feel like the majority of this build is going to be the landscaping. The dragon itself is a very small part of it. Although it's going to have a lot of detail, but yeah. I don't think I would enjoy a role-playing server, and I simply don't have the time. Maybe if I ever had the time, I'd try one. Building is my thing. I just like to build. Alright, if there are no more questions, I think I can end this, and people can always go back and look at the full tour. It was kind of weird bouncing back and forth between questions and touring, but and then I toured a lot more than I was planning on, but it all worked out. I hope you all enjoyed this stream. A one of a kind. I've never done one before like this. And yeah, next week should be Evermore like normal. And that will only be on Twitch. I think that's all I need to say. I hope you guys have a good weekend, and I'll see you Monday for Zelda on Twitch if you decide to show up. If not, I'll see you some other time. I do have a mermaid statue. Go search YouTube. It's an old one, but it's out there. Bye, everybody.